Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Minneapolis. Good morning, St. Paul. Good morning, Seattle. Good morning to our friends in Wisconsin. I'm sorry about the Packers. And good morning to you. Welcome to the Jason Show. I'm Jace. Please say hello to my sidekick sister from another mister and Fox 9's Employee of the Month, Kendall Martin.
Did I actually win this one?
No, we don't really have that anymore. But I mean, we used to have it here. Oh. We used to. An executive producer, Jeff, won it one year, and your prize was. I'm sorry, what? 2-0. Kendall, he won it twice.
Oh, geez, in what, 20 years? Wow.
Yeah, and when you won, the prize was you got a free lunch. Wow, was that shade?
It was.
God, I missed you guys. I'm so glad to be back.
We're so happy you're back,
We're such a good family. But no, and the prize when you won Employee of the Month, you got to go to Taco Bell with the general manager. Yeah.
And you got that parking spot that everybody just parks in now.
Yeah, and I love it. And then you used to get a trophy. This is no joke. You'd get a little, like a statuette, but you couldn't keep the statue. You would, they would give you a statue, but because we couldn't afford multiple statues, they would give you one for like, okay, Joni, you win Employee of the Month. Here it is. And then at the end of the month, you had to give the trophy back to Rupert. You had to give it back to the powers that be.
It's like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. So, but then Kim Jong-un came in and got rid of that crap. So, no, we don't have it anymore. Oh. I say Employee of the Month because I said it at home last week when I was doing the home shows, because if you've been gone for a while, I've been gone for a while. I've been gone most of the year. And I had a vacation for 2 weeks, which is normal. And then I got bitten by that radioactive monkey. So I wasn't here last week. I had to isolate. So I've said it then, and I'll say it now one more time. I am so appreciative of you and Tom Butler and Pierre and Shane, who literally, Shane was out on the street on Monday walking home, and Jeff had to run outside and grab Shane at the last minute. Get in here, we need you. And Shane had to run in here. So I'm filled with gratitude for you, and you did such an amazing job hosting the show.
Thank you.
So I just want to say thank you.
Well, I'm happier that you're back now, so it's much more regular.
And can I tell you, here's what, your old pal Jace learned a lot of things over the last 3 weeks.
Tell me.
Here's the first thing I learned. I do not want to work from home. I know a lot of you love it, especially if you have, what are they called? Children. If you have children.
Oh my God, did you say, what do you call them, children?
I don't know. Yeah, if you have little children.
Like a milk bottle?
Well, you know I love children on a case-by-case basis. But if you have kids, I get it. It's a wonderful luxury that companies are starting to afford folks now. Can't do it. And I like to be alone. I'm a contradiction. I'm a walking, because you know I like my alone time. You know I don't, people scare me. But I was going stir crazy at home. By Thursday, I was quite literally climbing the walls. and Colin and I, because we've been together, we were all together for the vacation. And then last week, I'm sure he wanted to smother me in my sleep. And you know what I mean? It's just a lot of together time. Bless his heart. He had to deal with me. That's not fun.
I mean, not on that, but on the level of working from home, we did it really briefly in 2020. I would agree. You get like itchy. You're like, I gotta go, I gotta get out, I gotta see people that I'm not married to.
Okay, Linda Blair. I mean, did
I don't know where that came from. I don't know.
Satan, yeah.
The devil.
No, that's what I learned about me. I can't do it. I got out of the car today, and the first person I saw was photographer Eric. I wept. I started crying. I was so happy to see
the angel
people.
Started singing.
I did. I mean, I did love seeing him because of what he's wearing. And if you want to see that, go to my Instagram right now. That's all I'm saying. But all kidding aside, I was excited to see Jeff and Ted and you and Eric and Rob and Mimi and everyone. It's just good to be back. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude today. So, and you, I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys too. So, shall we get started?
See.
Time for the hot dish. Roll it. even though producer Ted did not seem that excited to hear my vacation stories.
I don't think.
Can I just say that? Can I throw some shade?
Ted doesn't really get excited about anything.
Well, that is true. He has like he and Leo have like 4 facial expressions, and Ted, I was trying to tell delightful vacation stories in our meeting. No time for it.
No, he was like, so next in the dish.
Next in the dish. Last week, Adele postponed her Las Vegas residency at the last minute. You guys know that. She blamed it on the COVID and delivery delays, but there may be more to the story. According to Page 6, Adele and the set designer had explosive arguments. An insider said the set cost millions of dollars and Adele was unhappy with it, preferring a stripped-down stage, nothing fancy. The falling out sent her into a panic because she wanted everything to be perfect because people were paying like $100,000. A second insider says the rift came amid endless changes to the set list, not the set list, saying there was no clarity around what exactly Adele wanted for the show. I think both of these things can be true and can coexist at the same time. I think there could be some COVID delivery delays that delayed the show, and I think this can be true too. My question is, because I know it's hot on the internet to think the worst in people immediately, I prefer not to think the worst of Adele. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing when a creative fights for what they want. You know, it's her name on there. It's her name, and it's her vision. And if she doesn't like the set, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless it got abusive, if the fighting got abusive, but we have no evidence of that.
Right, and we've never heard a ton of Adele being that way in the past, and I think a lot of the sources that they were using were from the Daily Mail and the Sun, those UK tabloids that we've all now become familiar with because of Harry and Meghan.
Yeah. Fundamentally, I just don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
You know, I care about stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know me. I notice everything. You know,
You want to put a good product out.
I care about. We call these finger lights. I call about the color. You know, I care about that. I care about the camera shot, the desk. There's nothing. I take it as a compliment to us, her customers. If we're spending hundreds of dollars just for the ticket, I want her to put on the best product.
Right.
Yeah. Next in the dish, earlier this month, ABC announced there would be a host for the upcoming Oscars. Imagine that. Well, Variety is now reporting there may be multiple hosts. They say the Oscars have reached out to multiple celebs with the idea of putting together some pairings. No hosts have been settled on, but according to Variety sources, at the top of the Academy's wish are Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. You guys know this because I don't love this. The show's been without a host for the last 3 years. In 1983, the show had 4 hosts and was one of the most watched in history. Yeah, but that's 1983.
Right.
This is not 1983 anymore. It's 2022. And here's my feeling. I know why they want Selena in there, because they think Selena's going to pull in the young folks. Stop it. Young folks are not going to watch the Oscars. I don't care if you put Shotgun Kelly on there or whoever that is.
Shotgun Kelly?
Who is it?
Machine Gun Kelly.
Perfect. I don't care who you put on there. If I were the Academy producers, I would go for people my age. I would put people on there that appeal to us, the people that are actually going to watch the Oscars. I love the pairing of Steve Martin and Martin Short. That's hysterical to me. I would do like a bridesmaid reunion. Have Tina, Amy, and Maya Rudolph, you know, a sort of bridesmaid reunion. Or I've said this idea for years. I said it on the radio today. If it's a celebration of movies, which it's supposed to be, do little sets of reunions that handle chunks of the show. You know, have the cast of the Goonies come out and they introduce 3 or 4 awards. Then have like a Three Amigos reunion or like Girls Trip. You know, have all the Wayans brothers come out. I don't know. People love reunions. They love nostalgia.
We've been having so many of them on HBO Max. Like, that's what they're making all their money off of these days.
I love the Harry Potter reunion. You and I haven't talked about that. I watched it on the plane. I cried.
You cried on the plane because of Harry Potter?
I don't think I ordered shame with my fish. Were you shaming me because I cried? You're the one who loves Harry Potter. I thought you'd be happy. I cried. The flight attendant came over, thought something was wrong with me.
I'm just saying that's a very emotional reaction to a reunion.
Well, I was 36,000 feet and 3 drinks in, but I mean, you know.
There it is.
Next in the dish, SNL alum Will Forte hosted SNL over the weekend. Will was in the cast 12 years ago, and during his monologue, he actually poked fun at himself. Look at this.
12 freaking years for this. I mean, have you seen some of the idiots they've had host the show since then? Kristen, Bill, Andy, Fine, I'll take one question. You, sir.
I'm so sorry, Will. There's been a mistake.
Hey! Wait. Willem Dafoe? You're hosting next week.
I'm pretty sure it's this week.
Do you think I would book someone named Will, then someone named Willem?
Oh my God, this is not happening. But you texted me to come host, Lauren.
I texted Willem and, autocorrect.
All right, fine. Then, let's have the fans decide once and for all. Oh my God, 5%? Oh, I guess people do love me.
And they do.
Great show.
Kristen Wiig also made a cameo too. It's a good show. I think some of the better hosts, because they know the mechanics, are when the old cast members come back.
It is cool, and I think when you are that person that was on the show for a chunk of time, no matter how brief or how long the stint is, to come back in a different role has to just be the coolest experience.
Absolutely. He's one of my favorites. I like him. MacGruber, because my buddy Ryan Phillippe's in that. I can't wait to watch that. MacGruber. Yeah, it was overall, it was like a B-.
Oh.
B-. I cried during that one too.
Which one?
The whole episode. Since you were shaming me for Harry Potter. We have a lot to get to today, so go get some coffee, some Sanka, and meet me back here in just a few minutes. Good to be back in a moment. Stay right there. Coming up next, it is the #1 show on Netflix, and it is also the beginning of the end. Ozark is back for its final run, and boy, did they save the best for last. My review just ahead, because I watched the whole thing. Then, he truly is a Minnesota sports icon, the one and only Joe Mower is joining me live to talk about an event that is near and dear to my heart. Can't wait for that. And Leslie Miller is taking you to wine class for free. Well, you just have to watch the show, but that's still free too. That and more when we come back.
Is tingling. Oh, someone bought a boat.
I don't know. I don't really know what you're talking
I'm
about.
getting word in my side piece, breaking news. My boy Koi Joy and SNL Boy Toy are saying ahoy hoy to an aquatic toy toy. That's right, Colin and Pete bought a ferry boat.
All right, well, fine. Here to talk about it is a guy who just bought a ferry.
We bought a ferry! The windowless van of the sea.
Yes, it's very exciting. We thought the whole thing through.
Yeah, I know even the mayor tweeted about it, which is how I found out we have a new mayor? What happened to Bloomberg?
Pete, we did a sketch about the new mayor last week.
Oh, yeah, I'm gone as soon as my last sketch is over.
More SNL, Alex Moffat playing guy who just bought a boat next to Pete and Colin, who actually did just buy a boat, a ferry. That's when you have good money. You can just buy a ferry.
It's so annoying. I just want health insurance.
Talk to Mim. On Mondays, we get a special serving a hot dish all the way from Hollywood. Friends, give it up for Brad from TMZ. Hi, Brad.
Hey, good morning, Jason. Welcome back.
Thank you, buddy. Have you ever bought, Brad, I don't mean to talk about your finances. Have you ever bought a ferry?
I have not, but Pete and Colin actually did, Jason, and they bought it for $280,000. This was part of a retired fleet in the city there, and actually a bit of a backstory. Colin and Pete used to take this same boat when they were doing stand-up comedy, so a little bit sentimental. Reports say they're going to try and turn this into a nightclub and have it docked somewhere permanently in the city, which would be awesome. But there's going to be a lot more money that needs to pour into that thing, as you can see.
Look at that. That's actually a good idea, to turn it into a dock, just a permanent dock nightclub. That's fun.
Hey, if they can pull it off, it'll be extremely successful, too. I mean, just imagine the story behind it, and people want to go check it out. And they should be able to make a return pretty easy, but it's a lot of work and a lot of permits that are probably going to have to go behind it to get it up and running.
Next up, Arnold Schwarzenegger got into a car accident over the weekend. I read this. What happened?
This was pretty crazy. It almost looked like a stunt out of one of his movies you see there. He was driving that big SUV, and it collided with a Prius, and you can see his SUV went up on its side. We're told it then tilted and hit another vehicle. There were some injuries. The woman in the Prius had to be hospitalized. As you can see there, Arnold was on the scene. He was okay. But this thing was pretty scary. And like I said, I mean, it really looks like it's from one of his action films.
I know, and it's such a cliche, but looking at those photos, Brad, it could have been a lot worse.
It definitely could have, and thankfully it wasn't, Jason, because if his SUV would have rolled maybe the other direction or hit the driver's side the way it hit the passenger's side, I mean, the woman in the Prius could have really been injured.
One more thing, a new documentary on Hugh Hefner is debuting on A&E tonight, and it doesn't paint the Playboy company in a positive light, does it?
No, we've gotten a few different previews of this thing. It's called Secrets of Playboy, and like you said, it premieres tonight, but there's a clip we got that we put on the website this morning that says Hugh Hefner used to secretly tape some of his sexual encounters, and even when some of his partners would say, hey, I'm not comfortable with that, at least according to the women interviewed in this documentary, they say that he would just pretend to hit stop on the record, and he'd save these tapes. His son Cooper came out this morning and said, hey, a lot of what you're hearing in these stories is not true. My father was an honest man and a stand-up guy. But this is supposed to be quite an eye-opening series about the life behind the Playboy Mansion.
That's tonight on A&E. Brad, before we let you go, I said at the top of the show, I was gone last week. I had to isolate, and I see you're working from home. And I was saying what I learned about myself is I don't like the working from home thing. Do you like it?
No, and you know, we're back working from home, just kind of precautionary, Jason, until things kind of calm down. But I thought I liked working at home, then we got back in the office, and I realized I enjoyed the office a whole lot more. Just the schedule and the routine's a lot better.
Absolutely. Brad, take care. Have a good week, my friend.
Thanks, Jason. You too.
You can get more of these stories at tmz.com. I'm going to watch that documentary. That looks really good.
The grotto, it was right there.
You were there.
I was there. Okay, not like that, everybody. Not like that.
No, you didn't. I mean, you weren't a Playboy bunny or anything.
I was at the Playboy Mansion for an after party, covering the after party. Is like this. So I wasn't even really invited. But after the red carpet was over, I got to go back, and I did look inside the grotto, and I was on the grounds. I was eating a breadstick. It was really cool.
I love that you were eating carbs at
I was eating a breadstick.
That's my girl.
In
I'm
a
so
gown.
proud of you. Yeah.
In the grotto.
Speaking of you, are you still married? I wanted to check on that. Are you and Jordan still together?
Let me think about that.
After he misspelled your name on a birthday card, I just wanted to check.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Has he done anything to make that up to you? Has he bought you like a cake or anything with your name?
He did get me flowers.
Okay.
And then we went skiing. But then he took me down this Black Diamond run that I did not think I was ready for, but he said I was, and I almost died at the end. So now I'm thinking that maybe he's trying to kill me off.
Next to the dish, Christine Baranski was on CBS Sunday Morning. She has been an actress her whole life, and she talked about how she got kind of waitlisted at Juilliard. This was fascinating. Look at this.
I'm curious, what did the teenage pre-Juilliard Christine Baranski sound like?
I sounded kind of like a girl from the Midwest. This is the way I sounded when I entered Juilliard. I had hard R's, which they said I had to get rid of my hard R's. I had a sibilant S, which is why they waitlisted me, because, see these teeth? I had a space between my teeth.
Like Lauren Hutton?
Yeah, I had a Lauren Hutton gap. Yeah. But I didn't look as beautiful as Lauren Hutton, but I had this gap. And then,
to get rid of her sibilant S, and trust me, it's not that easy, Baranski capped her teeth and worked with a speech therapist before re-auditioning. Who was the first person you told that you got into Juilliard?
The first person I told was my mother. I still remember meeting my mother and telling her the news, and we went to the Algonquin Hotel and had Southern Comfort Manhattans with cherries. We each had 2 Manhattans, and it was the only time I got drunk with my mother.
Atta girl. Her career really took off in her 50s. I mean, that's one of the amazing things about her trajectory. She's in The Good Fight over there on Paramount Plus, and the new HBO series, The Gilded Age, from the creator of Downton Abbey. She's one of my favorites, and we take her for granted. you forget how vast her career is. From sitcoms to Sybil, with Sybil Shepherd, to dramas, to The Good Wife, to her own show, The Good Fight. You think of her in films.
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
I love The Grinch.
And my favorite, it's a movie that I watch sometimes as I fall asleep, The Birdcage. She's fantastic in The Birdcage.
She's so good.
She is. She's so good. What is a hard R? What does that mean?
Is it how?
Hard.
Hard?
Hard?
It's like how we sometimes in Minnesota say things. So like hard, it's hard there.
Okay, like a
of hard
pirate
there.
Ted said in my ear. Do I have a hard R? No. I don't?
No.
Chicago.
There's no R in Chicago. God.
No,
Jeff.
but Jeff thinks I have still a Chicago accent. Do I? I think I maybe do. I don't hear it.
Okay. I don't, but I think when you say certain words, you do. Like Jordan does not anymore, but the way he says Chicago is very different than I say Chicago because he's from around there.
Yeah, probably.
Like that.
Next in the dish over the weekend, I watched the first half of the final season of Ozark. Before I talk about it, spoiler free, here's a little clip of the trailer.
Should we get started?
Not until our other partner gets here.
Partner?
So what's this message from Mexico so important you had to drag us all in here?
The Navarro cartel has been made aware that you intend to start producing heroin again. They have instructed us to warn you their response is going to be quick and it's going to be brutal.
We're just the messengers here.
You two are celebrities. You will use your influence. I will walk away from my business. I will be free of the threat of arrest or assassination and to move freely to the United States.
Omar Navarro wants to cut a deal with the FBI.
What would it take?
More than he's willing to give.
Do this and you are free of your obligation to me.
Oh! I'll just break it down right now. So good. So blanking good. Sometimes you watch these shows, this was asked of me this morning, do you feel like they're stretching this out? No. This is going to be divided, the final season is going to be divided into 2 sets of 7. The first set dropped Friday. Jason Bateman hinted to Jimmy Kimmel that Netflix isn't going to wait long. We're hearing April that we'll get the final. This is so fantastically well written. The pacing is perfect. They are really, and this one, this was the analogy that I said earlier that's perfect. Without giving anything away, you kind of think that the plane is coming in for a landing. And if you've ever heard of those stories where the pilot goes in for a landing and then he has to make an emergency, he has to abort the landing and go back up, and that's jostling to the passengers, yeah. That's what the back half of this 7, especially the last episode, you think the plane's coming in and it's like, nope. And something happens that just reshuffles the deck. And you are left a little like, oh my goodness, how are they gonna wrap this up? Because something rather shocking happens toward the end.
Okay, I've never watched it. Is it a genuine question? There's so many shows to watch these days. Is it worth me watching it and then trying to catch up to make it to April?
There's no pause. Without a doubt. This is such a finely produced, written, and acted show. This show has very few flaws. There are some seasons I've liked more than others. I didn't love parts of last season. This 7, I watched it all. I leave the couch once to go to the Apple store. But other than that, I did not leave the couch yesterday. We piled through the entire 7 and we got done and it's fantastic. So go watch it. It's on Netflix, Ozark, the first half of season 4, available right now. Joe Mower, Leslie Miller, and more when we come back. Back in a moment. So good. Ruthie. Welcome back to the show, friends. Hope you're having a good start to the week. Well, our first guest, is a Minnesota sports legend. That's putting it mildly. He grew up in the Twin Cities and played for more than a decade with the Twins. Please welcome the one and only Joe Mower. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm well, my friend. I was really excited to have you, not only because I'm a big fan, but also because you're talking about an organization that means a great deal to me that I introduced to our audience earlier this year, Crescent Cove. Tell the folks what they do and how you're involved this year.
Well, Jason, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on the show and talk Crescent Cove. I would encourage, I'm going to put this out there first, encourage everybody to go visit the website, crescentcove.org, if I don't do that great of a job describing how great of a place this is. It truly is amazing. It's a place for families with children that in need of respite and end-of-life care for their loved ones, and not just for the patient itself, but it's really for the whole family. But it's amazing. There's only 3 of these types of places in the U.S., and we have one right here in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. And the work that they do there is just amazing. It's so welcoming. It feels like family. And like I said, I just can't say enough good things about this place and the need that we have for a place like this.
I was going to say, you know, Joe, what struck me when I learned about it earlier, we did a fundraiser for them through my radio show, is, and it's such a simple a premise, Joe, it lets the kids be kids when they need to be a kid. You know, the most of all, they need to take their mind off things. What a precious gift, especially at end of life, don't you think?
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, every time I've visited Crescent Cove, it's just such a happy place.
Yeah.
You see so many smiles and you hear laughter. And, you know, and it's a tough subject to talk about, you know, as myself being a father. And sometimes it's a little tough to talk about these things. But when you walk into this door, it's so welcoming and it's such a great place. And it's, like I said, it's such a needed place.
Absolutely. And it really touched our audience's heart earlier. I mean, within 1 hour, Joe, we were raising thousands of dollars. People were just pouring in donations, which we just have such a good audience. Let me ask you, I was thinking about this in the break, my friend. I'm sure you get approached to do a lot of stuff, to put your name in front of a lot of organizations. What is the barometer like for you, Joe? What, specifically with Crescent Cove, what is it that moves you to want to do something, to put your name on it?
Well, I have a soft spot for helping children in need and obviously families. And actually, I got introduced to Crescent Cove by Harmon Killebrew back in the day, back in my early years of playing with the Twins. And I'd encourage people to look at the advisory council for Crescent Cove. You're talking about Harmon Killebrew, Tony Oliva, Rod Carew, Blyleven, Molitor, Morris. All these guys from the Twins really are throwing their support and their name next to an organization like this. And I quickly did the same for me. So really it was a no-brainer for me. Crescent Cove, like I said, does so many amazing things. And I'm just happy to be a small part of it.
Yeah, and the gala, friends, I should tell you, is this Saturday at the St. Paul River Center. And Joe's going to appear online in a nice little appearance on video. This is the 10th annual gala. You mentioned going there, Joe, and I tried to describe it to the audience. There is something quite magical when you walk through those doors, isn't it?
It really is. And there's so many stories. There's so many families that have been through those doors, and it's just such a great support system. You know, when you kind of are faced with some of the challenges that these families are faced with, you kind of feel maybe alone or on an island. And here, there's just the support of the community. The staff that works there is absolutely tremendous, skilled in so many different areas, and really whatever your family needs, Crescent Cove has got you covered. So, like I said, I'm not probably doing it justice talking about it. I get so excited to talk about Crescent Cove, but want to make sure people can get the full picture of this place because it really is special.
You're doing a good job, my friend. I wanted to ask you, you have about a minute left. You mentioned your kids. How's the family doing?
Everybody's doing well. You know, the girls, it was their half birthday today, I was informed. They're 8.5, and they get to bring a little something to school today. So they were really excited about that. And my son is 3, and he's doing well too. So it's been a lot of fun to be at home and watch them grow and celebrate these little milestones like the half birthday.
Joe, we're going to end on a fun note. The producers love torturing me. The last time I saw you was when they had me throw out the first pitch. And here we're looking at the video. And Joe, what you didn't know was, it was so funny. They told me to do this. I am the least athletic human being on earth. And I thought, I went out there. I was nervous as all get out. And they didn't tell me who I was going to be pitching to. And then you walk out there, and I thought, now, out of all the people to pitch to, I'm pitching to Mower? Like, are you kidding me?
Well, you did a great job. I was proud of you. You went right to the top of the mound, and you got it there. So, I mean, you did a great job. I remember that day, and you had a great showing that day. That was good.
Well, I appreciate it. And Joe, I got to tell you, when I found out that you were working with Crescent Cove, it made me excited because I know you'll bring eyeballs to the organization. And I can't think of a better organization that needs attention right now. So thank you for what you're doing for them, Joe.
Well, absolutely. And I want to thank you and Kendall as well. I know she did a great story out there at Crescent Cove. So thank you guys for what you do and spreading the word. And thank you everybody out there for their support of Crescent Cove.
Thanks, Joe. Tell the kids we said happy half birthday.
I will. Thank you.
Bye, buddy. CrescentCove.org for more information, like Joe said. And he mentioned the great story. Kendall did do an amazing job. If you want to have some happy tears, go to our YouTube page and search for Crescent Cove and Kendall and The Jason Show. You'll find that story. They're angels. They're angels in that organization. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Leslie Miller and more after this.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to the show. How nice is Joe Mower?
The nicest.
Will you tell, we love good behind the scenes stories. You worked, she was a sporty Sally for a while. You worked at FSN.
Yep.
Tell the folks how nice he was when the cameras aren't rolling.
Oh yeah, even back in 2013 when I was just like a big old nobody, youngest kid on the team, we would do interviews and I was so nervous because he's Joe Mower and he always remembered me. He was always just the nicest guy to everybody, not just me, to everyone. So really cool guy.
Yeah, Justin Morneau too. Two good dudes.
Yep.
Well, welcome back everyone. It feels like the late 90s in a movie theater near you. The latest Scream movie just opened and I got a chance to see it this weekend. It features the return of Sidney Prescott and a whole new crop of young people waiting to be killed by Ghostface. Look at this.
Hello?
It's happening. 3 attacks so far. Do you have a gun?
I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course I have a gun.
Something about this one just feels different.
Samantha? I know who you are. I've been through this a lot.
Yes, you have, through 4 movies. That's Neve Campbell returning to the Scream world with Courtney Cox and David Arquette, the little trio there. I'll start right away just telling you, break it down. Loved it. You should know I come from a place of this movie franchise, like most people at my age, means a lot. I love horror movies and I love the Scream franchise. One of the first movies I ever saw here in Minnesota, right after I moved here, Scream 2 was released in theaters. And I have great memories of going to the old Centennial Lakes Theater, General Cinema in Edina. Anyway, this is what they're calling a requel, not a prequel, not a sequel. It's a requel where they're dealing with legacy characters, but you notice it's called Scream, not Scream 5 or 6. So it's like a redo, but yet it's still in the same universe. That's why Sidney Prescott and David, that's why they're all there. What this movie and the new directors and the new writers, Wes Craven, we lost him sadly. What this movie does so well, they take the horror movie tropes and they twist it and they turn it, which leaves you, the audience member, on edge in a fun way the whole time. Let me give you an example. You know how in one of the biggest cliches of a horror movie is when they show like someone opening a refrigerator, and then when they close the door, the killer's behind the refrigerator.
Right.
Well, in this movie, they play with that and they flip it upside down. They play with all of the tropes. So you don't know what's going to happen. As far as who the killer is, that's also surprising. There are, I will say this movie is brutal. The kills in this movie,
gruesome.
This ain't 1997 anymore. No, it is way more brutal than the original movies. I guess you kind of have to up the ante, but it's fun. Courtney, the trio looks great. It's good to see them together again. Dewey and Sydney and Gail Weathers, who is basically now hosting Good Morning America. The new kids, here's what I will say. The only disappointment is I couldn't have cared less about all of the new kids. I wanted them all to be killed by Ghostface within a half hour. None of them really, I didn't care about any of them, but I wasn't there for them. I was there for Dewey, Sydney, and Gail. But that's my only beef. The new crop of kids, they were whatever. Okay, check off, you're gone. Okay, next. Okay, next. Yeah. And I saw this at the theater at Mall of America, and I think that one of their light bulbs was out in the projector. Half the screen was dark.
Are you kidding me?
I wasn't. I'm going like this.
Is it me?
Yeah. And of course, I got tickets, and I was the only one sitting in the theater. And what happened 5 minutes later? 2 couples came in and sat bloop, bloop, right next to me.
Why, people?
Yeah.
Why?
So I, being Jason, harumphed and got up and moved.
Good for you.
I'm like, come on, people, the COVID. And, yeah. Scream is in theaters now. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Leslie Miller right after this. Why must you sit here? There's 400 other seats. Welcome back. Well, our next guest is back from sipping rum and cokes in Costa Rica, and she's ready to help out our palate with a little wine class 101. Please welcome back to the show, Miss Costa Rica herself, the wine diva, Leslie Miller. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning, Jason. You missed it. I was attacked by monkeys, birds. I gotta tell you.
You got attacked by a monkey?
Yeah, yes. There was a monkey. Well, it was off in the background, but it was very loud.
I also heard that you wrapped yourself about 2 minutes early.
What?
Yeah, you ended your own segment about 2 minutes early. See, I leave you and you're out of control, Miller. You're out of control.
Oh man.
I know.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry. Well, I invited the girls with me, but anyways.
Yeah. So this is a Wine Primer 101, and we're going to be helping folks choose wine for their palate. You've done this into 3 categories, and we're going to start with light-bodied wines. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, when we think about wine, we used to break it down as light, medium, and full-bodied. So the way we used to describe it for your palate is think about the weight of the wine being either skim milk, 2%, or whole milk. How does it feel on your palate? So when you think about light-bodied whites, we think about Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Grigio. Light-bodied reds would be something like Pinot Noir and Gamay. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. And then from there, you start to think about what you like in wine. So if you're the person that likes to kind of squeeze a little extra lime or lemon on your food, you might, in the light-bodied category, go for something like a Pinot Grigio from Italy, old world European wine, versus maybe like a Sauvignon Blanc from the United States, which would be a little bit more on the tropical fruit side.
Got it. Just this is a generality, but you specifically pointed out a Sauvignon Blanc from the United States. Is the U.S. wine version usually a little sweeter, Leslie? Is that usually the rule?
There is more natural grape sugar in the grape itself, but generally speaking, the yeast should eat that sugar. So it should be dry, but you still get these like more juicy, I always say juicy Oompa Loompa tones in your wine. So like a fruit parade, right? When you smell the wine, generally speaking, again, whites, reds, rosés, from New World countries, you do get more of that fruit note, which can signify sometimes, hey, this wine might smell sweet in a way.
And FYI, I love a fruit parade. How about reds?
reds, now, if you think about light-bodied reds, I think about Pinot Noir and Gamay. And, you know, Gamay is traditionally from France. We grow it around the world. And then Pinot Noir is grown pretty much everywhere. But again, think about like a Pinot Noir from California. Now you're smelling things like black cherry, raspberry, whereas like a light-bodied red Gamay from France might smell like sour cherry, and you'll smell more dirt and earth notes first. So think about what really excites your palate maybe when you start to kind of dip into some of your own favorite wines.
Let's go to medium-bodied wines. Again, we'll start with white.
Okay, white. So when we think about whites, there's a whole plethora of medium weighted grapes. And I think that we sort of semi-forget these. Albarino, Chenin Blanc, Viognier, really beautiful white grapes that will go with everything on the table. And then reds, you think about things like Tempranillo and Malbec. Again, a lot of really great grapes that kind of go with everything. Going back to that old world, new world kind of like ideation, when you think about a New World Chenin Blanc Viognier, again, like more round yellow apple tones, whereas the Albarino from Spain, Old World, will have a little kiss of that sort of acid that kind of pops through.
Old world, new world. I'm writing all this down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just think of like Europe versus everywhere else. And obviously there's a lot of asterisks.
Got
right?
it. Because I was going to ask you. I was joking, but I really meant that. Okay, that's a good way to put it. Okay,
Yeah.
finally, full-bodied wines.
Yeah, full-bodied. I mean, I'm just going to go straight to Chardonnay and Cabernet. But even if you just break those two grape varietals down, I know that a lot of people love, love, love Chardonnay. But if you think about a New World Chardonnay, are you the person that likes things a little bit rounder, creamier? Do you like the tropical tones, maybe of like a Napa Chardonnay? Or if you were picking up a Chardonnay from Chablis, France, in Northern Burgundy, here, again, you get a lot of, now this is kind of like an oyster shellish style, but you get a lot of that like bright, almost like mouth-watering acidity that comes through in the Chardonnay. And then kind of the same thing for like Cabernets here. New World, big, juicy, round, kind of lovey with that fruit style. And then when you think about like French Cabernet, dirty, earthy, a little bit more of those like herbal tones. So again, kind of like breaking down what you actually like. Think about a lot of things when it comes to like what you like about food too.
If you're playing the Leslie Miller drinking game at home, she said dirty and earthy 3 times. Go ahead, 3 times.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully this makes sense to people.
It does. It does. No. I'm giving you a hard time, but no, this is why we rely on you so we don't sound ridiculous when we go to the wine store. So thank you. And Leslie, if you wouldn't mind, just drop all of those bottles off at my house right across the street if you could.
I will. I'll take them over in the cart right now.
Perfect.
I'll meet you there.
Thank you, sweetie. AmuseWine.com for more. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Leslie pushing her little wine cart around our neighborhood. Always a sight. Welcome back. It is time now for the world's shortest segment. It's mating season at It's mating season at Martha Stewart's house. For her peacocks. Yeah. Martha shared this video on her Instagram this weekend. She says mating season is underway. The male peacocks are showing off. Check that out. Martha appears to have at least 6 peacocks strolling around. Yeah. Wow. The surprise goodbye when we return. Back in a moment. Those are pretty. Yeah. Are you ready, Kendall? Hold on to your wigs and keys. It's time for the surprise goodbye. Kendall and I are in the dark about what the producers have put into the segment until right about now. Today, one driver's snowstorm struggle caught on tape. Time-lapse video from Toronto shows a blue car trying to get out after a storm dumped around 17 inches of snow last week. The guy recording the video says the car made dozens of attempts to get out of the driveway before a plow finally came through to clear the street.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Just give up already. Stay home.
Just walk. At that point, you're just kind of like, I'm done.
Walk.
By the way, Photographer Eric's kitty outfit is blowing up the internet. I gained 50 followers on my Instagram account just to see.
Eric.
That's right. They want to see Eric's lion outfit. Woo! Tomorrow on the show, we check in with Heather Fox. She's in Vegas at a home and furniture trade show and show us some of the hot items of 2022. That's going to do it for us today. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.